Traci.
And I'm Leena.
And we love healing children.
In fact, we're the co-owners and founders of Healing Children LLC.
And this is our podcast, The Bumpy Road to Healing, where we get real about what children need emotionally.
And how best to support them.
We skip the fluff.
And get right to the heart of it.
So one of the most important parts of our house is the relationship. It's a hugely important piece with working with kids, right? Them knowing that we like them, we enjoy being with them, is a huge part to connecting.
Yes.
And that connection.
And that's why it is the foundation of the house.
But it's tough, right? When we have kids who are running from us, when we have students who are refusing to do what we ask, maybe they're throwing a temper tantrum or having them do their math problem.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're even making fun of us. You know, if you're in high school, the kids might be like rolling their eyes or saying something rude. It's like, well, what are
throwing stuff at you and whining and screaming and yelling and all that. Yeah, it's very fun.
So how do we make those connections with kids? Because it is a vital part. And sometimes they'll do things for us that they wouldn't necessarily do for themselves.
If they're connected.
Right.
Yes.
If they're connected. So we want that connection. So how do we get that? And there's some things that you and I had talked about. And one of them is really, in some ways, getting to their level and being on their level without being on their level, right? Without like sinking down into doing what they're doing, but it's still having fun with them on their level.
Yeah, so it's finding a way to connect with them.
Still
maintaining that you're the authority figure, but you're finding a way to connect with them in a way that's fun for you and fun for them.
Right.
Yes.
So there's one story you talked about of a student that you did this with that you've known for years. Like you've known him for a super long time and you worked with him when he was really little.
Yes. He was really little, and wasn't speaking much when I first met him. And he was a runner. So he would run and leave group. If your eyes weren't on him, he was misbehaving, throwing things, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So there were a few things I had to do with him during that time when he was really little. One is, when I set up the room, there was somebody sitting right next to the door so he couldn't escape.
Well, would he try to escape?
Oh, he would try to escape.
So what would they do? Just like,
well, the door was closed and they were sitting next to it, so he couldn't escape.
So he kind of would like think about it and then just
he couldn't do it. And I also knew if my eyes were off of him, then he was up and running. So I would sit him dead center of this little group.
Okay.
And so there was somebody with the door, so he couldn't escape. He was dead center. So even if I was looking at this kid over here, I had one eye on him. And this kid over here. And so he also knew if he got up, I was like, sit down.
And he listened to that.
Yes. And he learned to listen to me, right? So then years later, I'm working with him in another situation. And every time he sees me, this is what he does.
Yeah.
And so every time I see him, I do that back.
And
then he starts laughing and he'll say, you were my teacher and you did this to me. And I was like, yeah, and now look how great you're doing. You're doing so good.
See, this is like a really good discipline technique. It works.
Yes. And then even the other day, he was doing it to me and he likes to tell people that, that I used to teach him. And he's like, and he says to me, you did this to me. You were mean to me. And I said, I was not mean. You were naughty.
Called him out.
Yes. And then he said, I'm not naughty anymore. I'm like, no, you're not. Like he has grown so much. It's so fun to see. But that's kind of our little thing. Years later, still.
His way of trying to connect to you and then you can connect back.
Right back. So it's on his level, but I'm still the authority figure. Like I'm not giving away my authority as an adult, but we're connecting.
And he thinks it's fun.
He thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
To tell everybody.
He thinks it's fun. Well, and I think it's figuring out what is it about that, because that's a part of connection that's so hard to like explain and really break down. But yet teachers who know how to do that have the best relationships with their students. And sometimes you don't even need as much discipline because you have that ability to connect on that level. And part of it is maybe the kids know that you will discipline. So it's not like, oh, this is the teacher where I can do whatever I want. They're not going to hold me accountable. It's not like that. It's like, I know they're gonna follow through, but yet they're hilarious and they know how to kind of meet me with where I'm at.
Kind of make fun of us, you know, like, you're kind of making fun of the situation a little bit.
Right,
Like, I wasn't worried about whether he liked me or not. When he
right.
was little, I still held him accountable because I believed in him.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm sure he felt that.
yeah.
And I still believe in him, but I think he knows I just genuinely really like him.
And you also knew, there's a couple things you knew. You knew how to put preventative strategies in. So you knew like, okay, he's a runner. He wants to leave. I gotta put someone by the door.
Yeah, and you can't always do that in the classroom because of fire code. This was a different situation.
Right, but so for this situation, you could do that. You
Yeah.
also knew, I gotta keep my eye on him all the time. So I gotta see him right in front,
Dead center.
dead
So I
center.
can still attend to the other kids,
Uh-huh,
but he's dead center.
dead center. So there was a few things that you knew to do to keep that behavior under control.
Yeah, and we did social stories and I did other things where I,
Worked with him on
yeah,
stuff.
worked with them.
So I think that's a piece to this puzzle too, but then I also think the fun of the finger point, right? And you have fun with it and he has fun with it.
Yes,
And it's a way to connect.
every single time he sees.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, you had another story of a student who was in group with you and you had to go out in strong stand, which is one of our techniques we're not gonna go into today. And what was he saying about you again? Like what?
So this is a kid who actually, he had a tough life, been in refugee camp.
Yeah.
Started in New York City, so he kind of had some gang mentality and then came to Idaho.
Okay.
You know, in Idaho, we're kind of hips, right? So that was something I also,
Some people might be offended by that, but
I'm one of them. So it's okay,
it's all good.
it's all good, I can cut that out.
We don't have, well, we might have some gangs, but not many.
Not many, we do have some, but he with that whole gang mentality, so there was one time he was doing it. So
Uh-huh.
a couple of times I teased him about a couple of things, but one time I just looked at him and I just pulled my hick out and said, dude, we're in Idaho. We are hips out here. But another time.
What did he do to that?
He just started laughing. I kind of dropped the attitude a little bit.
So he had a good sense of humor
Yeah.
too.
And another time he had to go stand strong because I can't remember, he'd broken one of the rules in group, and that's just one of the things we do for group. And I could hear him in the hallway with the person who was working him through the stand strong, and he was just like, that Miss Weaver, she thinks she's so tough. She just thinks she's so tough. And so I went out in the hallway and I said, do you want to see my guns? And I just showed him my guns. And he just started busting up, finished his strong stand, and came back in, did the group procedures. And unfortunately, he moved away like a month later or something, but he gave me a big hug.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was too bad he had to move.
I know, so I was like, oh.
This is so fun.
And I just remember hearing him out there like, she thinks she's so tough.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna have fun with this.
Have fun with this, because he's already getting the discipline.
Right.
So he's in that position where he has the consequence, he's getting the discipline. I don't need to be like slamming anything more.
Well, yeah, and you don't need to be taking this
Mhm.
comment about you being so tough so
Personally,
seriously,
yeah.
or taking it personally.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple rules when we're talking about this to keep in mind. Because I think this is also somewhat of a skill that can be learned by a lot of educators, like some of you out there are so great at this naturally.
Yeah.
But I also think it can be learned. And so I think there's a couple things we need to be thinking about. Number one is liking the kid,
Yes.
right? That's always like when we like kids and they know that we like them,
Mhm.
you can have fun.
Yeah.
Right. And they know that it's in fun. It's not to be mean.
And it's not to control.
Right. That's enough. That's the second step. It's
Yeah.
not about controlling them. It's about accepting them and accepting this is where he's at, right? He's in group, dealing with behavior. He doesn't like it. That's okay. He doesn't have to like it, but he needs it for his growth. And so we're gonna just have fun with it when he's kind of complaining about it, basically. Okay. And kind of whether he changes or not makes no difference.
I'm doing my job. The consequences are in place.
Right.
The boundaries are in place. We've got the structure. I'm doing my job. His job is to decide whether he's gonna make those changes.
And you'll like him either way.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm here either way. I like you either way. Whether you change is up to you.
Yeah.
It's your decision. It affects you the most.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And then I think another really important part is accepting ourselves. Right, it's
Mhm.
accepting that we are the authority, which, not everybody loves being the authority. Some people love it.
Yeah.
But other people don't love it so
For a
much.
variety of reasons, which we do. I mean, we go into that in depth in one of our classes.
Right.
But yes, like accepting Because once you accept yourself and who you are and you have a good self-concept, you don't feel a need to be accepted by the kids.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like, it's not about me being your best friend. This is more about me having fun with you and enjoying being with you as the authority figure that I am.
Yes.
With you. Absolutely. And then there's also a couple other things that I think are really important with relationship building, and it's more like scientific, right?
Yes.
So it's things that release oxytocin. It's things that we want to be doing with our students every day, if we can. Like if you're a teacher, you want to be trying to do this with students every day. Depending on, if you're secondary, elementary might look a little bit different, but the first one is positive eye contact. And notice I said positive.
So it's not like this.
And it might not be when she did that. First, he did get a laugh afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah. So it really is, I like you, I enjoy you.
So it's looking with. And so even when I do this to him, but my eyes are not true.
You're not mad.
Yeah.
Like they can read that anger.
They can read that
see the anger. And then the physical touch, which we work in the schools. So that's varying, like physical touch with kinder versus physical touch with, seniors in high school. Although this all appropriate physical touches that you could do at any level. And what's interesting is, this would be great for the little guys.
That gets physical touch in, it's all great.
Yeah. And what's interesting with like my kinders, like I have them do like shaking hands when they step out in group, and like people will walk by and like stop and they're like, oh, because it's this cute little kid like shaking my hand and being so grown up, right? Being mature and having fun with being mature. Those three things are a game changer.
You forgot the smile.
Smile.
That was only two that you shared, but we're gonna get the third,
which is smiling. Yeah.
and it's not the.
Well, it's not the.
It's a real one.
So you might want to just do that in the morning when they come in before they've had a chance to misbehave.
Yes. Get all three of those things in the morning.
Right before they've done anything they're not supposed to do.
Yeah. You're more likely to, it's not foolproof.
Right.
But it's more likely to increase the likelihood of them bonding with you.
Yeah.
It's your bonding with them as well.
Yeah.
And then because you're both bonding with each other, there's that acceptance there, and they're more likely to follow the rules that you set.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think the last one is just thinking they're funny.
Oh, yes.
There's a couple of staff members that I work with that they think the kids are hilarious. And the kids love them.
Yes. And kids are funny.
Oh yeah.
They are so much fun.
Even when they're being kind of naughty, it's entertaining.
Yes.
I mean, it might create some work for us, but they're still really fun.
And finding that fun with them.
Yeah. So hopefully you've learned some things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some things that you can do with your students to get that connection and get that relationship, that foundation of the house.
Yeah.
So if you like what you're hearing and you want to learn more, you can go to our website at www.healingchildrenllc.org.
On our website, you can read more about who we are.
You can look at our online trainings.
You can also look at our blogs on a variety of topics.
You can see our most new and up-to-date podcasts.
You can also engage with us in a variety of ways,
such as liking us or following us on social media.
You can even hire us to come in.
Or you could email us or call us.
Exactly. Make sure that you sign up for our email list so that you can get the latest information about what we have to offer, including live trainings in your area.
Yes, so let the healing begin.
Thank you for joining our podcast, The Bumpy Road to Healing.
The Bumpy Road to Healing is sponsored by Healing Children, LLC. We are both educators and mental health professionals, which gives us a unique perspective on working with children both in and out of the school setting who have severe emotional and behavioral concerns.
Our mission is for all children to be emotionally healthy, happy, mature, and responsible. As adults establish healthy relationships and appropriate boundaries, we believe that children are more likely to grow and prosper.
When adults understand the impact of trauma, entitlement, disruptive attachment, and child development, including conscious development, they can better create healing environments for children.
To learn more about us and what we have to offer,
go to www.healingchildrenllc.org.